Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the press conference for the New Era Goodwin Main Events show put on by our promoter for the evening, Olivia Goodwin. Another fantastic lineup of boxers. We've got all these guys sitting in front of us. We're going to ask them some questions. Before we do that, I'll just turn it over to Olivia for quick introductions, and then we'll come back with some questions.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the Aubrey Park Hotel for my press conference, New Era, which is taking place on the 5th of September at York Hall. What I'm going to do is I'll introduce all the boxers, and then we'll pass the microphone down to each of them for Brett to do the questions. So on my far right, we then got Andrew Joyce. He made an amazing, his debut was brilliant earlier this year. His support is unbelievable as well, so I'm looking forward to the atmosphere this Saturday when he makes his second professional fight. We've then got AJ Carter. He's based in Hemel Hempstead. He's a heavyweight. He's won 6 of 8 and he's taking on a tough Bulgarian who's won 2 of 3. We've then got Jesse Lopez. He's a cruiserweight who's won 3 of 3 and he's stepping up for his first 6-rounder against the world kickboxing champion. We've then got Craig Hardy. He's coming back to the ring after 18 months out and he's now recently joined teams with Jamie Williams. To my left we've got Carl Wheeler. Well, he's a cruiserweight from Peterborough and we're looking for him to get title fights next year. You've got to add him up on Facebook because his little boy is brilliant. The videos are fantastic. Then next to him we've got Steve Whitwell. He's trained Carl and their gym's really up and coming, it's brilliant. We've then got Jordan Joseph. Well, he's making his 4th professional fight. I've grown up with Jordan, so watching him is brilliant. It's just like a massive family friend, and he's getting better and better. He's sharper and sharper, so it's brilliant. We've then got Ronny Fulford. He's making his debut against the War Machine, Larry Olabamiwe. So we'll now go to Brett for questions.
Okay, and we'll start with Spiros. So Spiros, a couple questions come in for you. Spiros. Couple questions for you. Carlos Wood says, I've seen you in the IBA unlicensed circuit. What makes you think you're now ready to do it in the pros?
I've fought with a few tough people, trained hard for it. I think I'm ready. My coach thinks I'm ready. My manager thinks I'm ready. I think I'm ready as well.
Yeah, one more for you, Spiros. Tell us a little bit about your training team and how you got here, and that's from Tim.
I trained with Kiri and Victor Smith, the 96 Fight Academy in down Musselwhite and Stone Newton. I used to box when I was younger. I stopped and I went to a martial art, and then I carried on with the boxing. I stuck to it, I enjoy it. I thought, give it a shot, see how it goes.
Okay, thanks, Spiros. Any questions from the audience for Spiros? Okay, let's move on to Andrew Joyce. So Andrew, Harry says, I see you dropping down 2 weight divisions. Is this because you've struggled in your debut?
Well, I didn't struggle on my debut. I weighed in 66 kilos. My opponent weighed in 70 kilos. He was meant to be 5'3". He ended up being 5'11". What he said on BoxRec was completely different on the day, but we still went in there. I just ended up working behind my jab and my screw shot, and ended up getting the win.
Okay, and David Gray says, do you feel it would have been better to go with a more experienced trainer rather than a rookie trainer at RJ Gym?
Well, the thing is, I'm pretty inexperienced myself as well, but it's a journey, and on the journey you've got to work with people that you trust. 100% I trust Rod Julian. He's a good guy, and that's what I want behind me, is good people. I don't want people who think they know it all. You know, Rod's still learning and he still says that, and as long as you're open-minded and you're willing to do that and to listen to other people, you're going to become a good team. So that's what I say to Matey Boy.
All right, any questions from the audience for Andrew? All right, let's move on to AJ Carter. AJ, George says, you were DQ'd in your last fight. Can you explain what happened?
Just a situation where I hit the guy after the break, the rules were broken. That's it.
Yeah, that was tough, by the way, because that was a great fight up until then. It just, I mean, stuff happens sometimes, doesn't it?
Yeah, looking forward to your next one.
All right, and Martin Coleman says, you've lost your last 2 fights. Is this fight about putting things right and getting back to the old AJ Carter?
I feel what I've been on is just a learning experience. One of them I did lose, the other one, you know, it's still up for question in people's minds. As far as I'm concerned, it was just something that happened in the heat of the battle. I've been putting things right in the gym. It's just about displaying what I've been putting right on the show.
All right, any questions from the audience for AJ? All right. Jose the Lopez, the cheekiest grin in the business. They've changed your photo this time, did you notice? All right, Jimmy says you're progressing nicely. How many fights before you start looking for titles?
Well, I mean, I would say now, but you know, I've got my manager. He's holding, like,
Mic on.
not holding me
Turn the
back.
mic on.
He's taking it. Is it on? It is on.
Close, close.
It is.
There you go.
Well, pretty soon, I'm looking to fight for the Southern area by the end of next year. That's the plan. I wanted to do it now, but obviously I need that experience and to get over there and get the win.
All right, and Roger says you were described once by Don Charles as the new David Haye. Do you have an ambition to step up to heavyweight like he did?
Yeah, I do. But what I want to do first, try to unify, and it's like, well, that's the plan, win a world title. And if I do win a world title, I want to unify it, then move on to the heavyweight division and try to, you know, take over from there.
Yeah. Take
Hopefully.
over.
Yeah.
All right, any questions for the audience for Jose? All right, Craig Hardy. Craig, Todd says you haven't fought for over a year. Why have you been so inactive?
On my last bout, I recently picked up an injury. Doctors give it time to heal. I didn't think I was going to come back to boxing, depending on how the injury would have healed. But I'm here today, ready for war.
All right, this next question. I see you're a Hammers fan. How well do you think we'll do this season? From Steve the Hammer.
Yeah, great Hammers fan. All my family and all my supporters, all West Ham fans through and through. I'm hoping we'll do good this season, get into Europe again, probably get knocked back out, but that's things.
All right, any questions from the audience for Craig? All right, moving on to Carl Wheeler. Dennis says your career seems to stop and start. Why is this, and why are you now fighting on a Goodwin show?
I just picked up injuries during my career, about 15 fights now. The first time I stopped was I done my wrists during a fight as well, during my 13th fight, and that's kept me out for 8 years, and I made it come back last year, and I've got 2 wins, and then last year again, just before Christmas, I've done my knee. I had to have a new operation, I had an ACL reconstruction and stuff, so that stopped me again. So I've never stopped because I didn't want to carry on. You know, I've always wanted to fight and be the best I can, but it's just injury stopping me. But now I'm all healed up, ready to see what happens next.
Yeah, good.
All right, Patrick says, how do you think you would fare against the likes of Ovo McKenzie, Matty Askin, or Loris Bennett?
I think I'll do well. I was actually going to fight over Mackenzie back in the day when I first turned pro, but it got changed last minute. But I think I'll do good against them guys. I've got the experience. I've got a lot of experience, but it's just getting back into the game, taking fights as they come. You know, and I think I believe it to box at the top and hopefully get a few more wins. Then we'll fight for some titles and take it from there.
Any questions from the audience for Carl?
I want to say one, if you don't mind, to do more. How would, okay, it's
on. Okay, what would you say to athletes who have incurred injuries? Has that ever made you not want to return in the ring? Has it kind of, has it deterred you from wanting to box again when you incur these injuries? And then what would you say to people that have had injuries to get back in the ring?
I would just say, just take the advice that you're given. Just everyone gets injuries in everything what you do, every sport, every moment, day activities. You always get an injury. But you just gotta take care of it. And all my injuries I've trained and I've come back. So, but my wrist was a bad one, and I had to take out my son and stuff. So I just didn't really think back on my back. But you see it on TV, you get a little itch and you want to fight again. But knee, I've worked hard on my knee. When that happened last year, they told me I probably can't box for the whole of 2015, but I've come back faster because I've trained hard and worked hard. So it's just how much you want it, how much you put into it, and that's what you get out of everything in life.
All right, thanks, Carl. Over to Steve. So Steve, Chris says, tell us about your training setup and the boxers that you train.
Hey, yeah, I set my gym up about 3 or 4 years ago. Had a couple of years working down in Norwich with Liam Walsh and Ryan Walsh alongside Graham Everett, and it was time to set up my own team. I picked up Carl, just making waves for a comeback, and we've got a couple of wins. I've got Matty Parr, who had a 1 win in his debut in Norwich a couple of months ago. He's on the show as well. He couldn't make it tonight. I've got Liam Goodwin making his debut on another Goodwin show in November, and Bradley Smith, who had a little spell in London at his debut, has now come back to the gym, and again he's on a Goodwin show October the 17th. And Tyler Goodjohn is now back in with us, and he's making his return to the ring at welterweight December the 5th on another Goodwin show. So we're enjoying working with the Goodwin promotions. They do what they say. They're great to work with, and we're happy to work with them. So we've got a great little team down there. So.
And we've got one more. All of the boxers in your gym, who will go the furthest? Of all the boxers in your gym, who will go the furthest and win at the highest level? No political answers, please. We just want a straight answer.
Obviously, Tyler Goodjohn, he was English champion last year. He gave it up. I think he can go further than that with the right backing and the right looking after. I don't think he's been looked after the best way before. So obviously he's been to that level before. I think Carl's got a great chance of going to a good level if we can keep him without getting injuries. As you get older, you pick up injuries. Matty Parr, great lad, very inexperienced, but we'll see how he goes. As tough as they come, and he definitely sells a lot of tickets. We're bringing a lot of people down on Saturday. Liam Goodjohn, another one. He's just like his brother, trying to get the box a bit more. He's a 6'1", welterweight, and he's tall, he's rangy. If we can get the box, and Bradley Smith is going to be awesome if we can keep him in the gym, keep him fit. And again, injuries play a big part and things like that. But he's an 18-year-old kid who's got a big future ahead of him. So personally, I'm going to sit on the fence, but Tyler's the one, really at the moment, who will go straight back in the title level within a couple of fights. But I want him to have a couple away from the cameras and just work his way into welterweight because he's moving up a weight, and see how he gets on. Yeah, but this guy will do okay. Thanks.
Yeah, it sounds like you've got a good team there and a lot of guys, and they just keep making each other better and better, don't they? Questions from the audience for Steve? Anyone? Okay, moving on to Jordan. Jordan Daniel says, you seem to be showing good improvement and more punching power. What do you put this down to?
We've been training hard as usual, just over time I'm improving. We're not doing anything different in the gym, we're keeping it the same. Hard work, good sparring, training has been good.
And Jack, and I think this is actually a great question because we don't normally cover it here, but a big part, I think, of what you guys do that nobody even really thinks about. How hard is it selling tickets when you're starting off as a professional boxer?
personally, selling tickets is hard, but I have a good fan base behind me. I have some good supporters. They always show love. They always come down, buy tickets from me. So it's hard, but it's got to be done.
Yeah, it's got to be done. Like I said, that's a big part of the game, and you guys having to train, having to get yourself in shape, having to keep your mind on the game, and then having to deal with all this admin stuff and sell tickets, and it's not always easy. So I commend all you guys for doing that. Any other questions for Jordan? All right, and last but not least, the Rhino.
Mr. Hollywood. What's going on?
All right.
Is it on? Hello?
Turn it off. We can only have one on at a time. All right, Joshua says, I've seen you advertised to fight a couple of times before, but you've never actually fought so far. Why haven't you fought? Did you lose your bottle?
No, sure you're not making these questions up, mate? You sure it's not you? No, basically I got injured, when was it, in May? With that man sitting over there, Mr. Rod Julian, and I was out on the track doing sprints. It weren't his fault, it was my fault really. Just didn't warm up properly. I ripped my hamstring, then I done my shoulder, it was just kept getting injured. Just kept training, I think I was overtraining a bit too hard. And then I went over to America, went to the wild card, went to May of January, none of that matters. But it was injuries why I basically prolonged the debut.
And Sean says, can you tell us what you've done in boxing before now?
Yeah, basically I moved away from the amateurs because it's not my style of fighting, the amateur scene. I left on a bit of a bitter note. Got a bad decision and just went to the unlicensed scene where I was unbeaten, 12 fights, won a couple of titles, and yeah, looking to take that into the pro ranks.
Good. Any questions for Ryan? I need to have one.
Right, so, is it on? Yeah. Okay, so this is your first pro debut. How do you feel boxing with a heavyweight when you're not supposed to be that level as yet?
Yeah, obviously had a bit of a change, obviously stepping up to heavyweight. Obviously I've been sparring cruiserweights going into this fight, but it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter who they put in front of me, he's going over, it don't matter. You know what I mean? Everyone that knows me, they know I've got one style, not one style, but one way of getting the job done. And yeah, doesn't matter who I'm fighting. Doesn't matter if you're heavyweight, lightweight, doesn't matter.
So you're confident then?
Yeah, just a little bit.
That's it.
All right, any other questions from the audience? All right, I think that wraps this one up. This is 5th September, York Hall in Bethnal Green, London, England. Olivia Goodwin promoting. This is going to be a cracking show. Again, I've got to give all of these guys credit because, as I said, not only do they train hours and hours and hours a day, but they've got to deal with ticket sales, they've got to deal with press conferences, they've got to come to things like this. And it's all part of the game, and it's a lot of things, a lot of times people don't think about that side of boxing, and it just puts your head in a different space, and it's hard to kind of switch back and forth. So all you guys that are here, fantastic job. Really, really look forward to this show.